The second thing I'd like to talk about today is how to get the most out of this music, or how to get the most out of any piece of music. And the first thing I like to do is to be musical with rhythm, not just rhythmic with rhythm, but musical with rhythm. How can we push, and how can we pull, and how can we emphasize, and how can we de-emphasize? How can we stress, and how can we unstress? How can we learn how to linger, and then learn how to maybe hurry? And I'd like to give you an exercise to do maybe before you watch the rehearsal video, and that's learning how to be flexible in subdivision. Maybe some of you already do this, but I'd like your conductor to conduct just a simple 4 pattern and say out loud with me. You'd say 1 and 2 and T and 4 and notice I'm not saying 3, I'm saying T to make it shorter and more rhythmic. So we'll say that. Do it again. 1 and 2 and T and 4 and keep going. 2 and T and 4 and breathe whenever you need to, and T and 4 and etc. until we all have the drill. And then I'd like your directors to play a game with you where they speed up and slow down like this. 1 and 2 and T and 4 and 1 and 2 and T and 4 and they might surprise you. 1 and 2 and T and 4 and 1 and 2 and T and 4 and 1 and 2 and T and 4, etc. Play the game and start feeling flexible. And then what I'd like you to do is watch the video once without singing, maybe following along, and seeing when is it that I am speeding up slightly the rhythm, just slightly, not a whole lot, and when am I lengthening or slowing down the rhythm, and what are those tied to? It's not just when Arneson writes a retard do I slow down, but I do that. But there are other times, and it has to do with the text, and it has to do with the melody. So see if you can make those connections, and then go through a few phrases with me articulating. Maybe you could say the articulations as well, or have me speaking the rhythm underneath while you're singing the part, and see if you can build in that flexibility. Now, warning, don't build it in exactly, because that rehearsal video, it's impossible to do something twice exactly the same. Impossible. Nor do we want to, because every time we do something, we are different. We feel different. The world is different. Our emotions are different. It's a different time of day. And for example, when I conducted your performance video, I kind of felt pressure, like I had to go from the beginning to the end and not make any mistakes. And so that's a little more serious. And then when I was doing the performance, or the rehearsal video, excuse me, when I was doing that, I was paying more attention to what was important in the music, and I was singing a little bit out loud, and so I was playing a little bit more. And so that recording will be a little different than the other one. But the idea is, if you build in your own artistic flexibility, then you will be able to do anything, do however your director feels on a particular day. The third thing I'd like to talk about today is about dynamic, or maybe we could call dynamics weight. I'd like you to go back to the video again, and instead of focusing on the speed of the rhythm that you were hearing me say, listen to the lightness or heaviness, or the loudness and softness of how I was enunciating. And then you can go back and you can play the game I gave you before and do it again, but just slightly differently. So instead of speeding up and slowing down, 1 and 2 and T and 4 and 1 and 2 and keep it steady. 1 and 2 and D and then have your director begin to play a different game with you, which is just go heavy and light. Can you make it heavy? 1 and 2 and T, and can you make it light? 1 and 2 and T and 4 and 1. Can you go in between? Can you make it get gradually heavier? T and 4 and 1 and 2 and T and 4 and gradually lighter and T and 4 and 1, etc. And so just play with that and then do it all together. Try to speed up and get lighter. Try to slow down and get heavier, and all the different combinations, and just see how well you can do with that. You become very, very flexible artists when you do that. It's like yoga for your voice.